I wish I was one of those other podcasters that I could have props. Maybe I'll put a few in later. But welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, Kristina. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy man stuff going on here. And I have sinned. Excuse me a second. Alright, we'll see if she comes back. She's pissed off at me. I started a video without her bed being next to me. We'll see what happens. So maybe I can put a couple of props in. Researching this, I discovered I've done a football one. I'll have to put it in the description. Are you ready for some football? I've done that one, so I'm going to put it, hopefully remember to put it in the link below. Please go check that out. I did it on Super Bowl Sunday last year. So anyways, I think I tried to do hockey at some point, and it got a little gross. It just didn't feel comfortable. Some of the situations that I found, I'll have to look some more. But I discovered that hockey and football are the two big things in this town. And baseball was really hard to find. Take me out to the ball game. I can't sing for nothing, can't even hold a tune. I spent 12 years in chorus and did the old Manili Vanilli, if anybody's old enough to remember that. And I spent half the time as alto, and I was told 11th and 12th grade that I was actually soprano. But anyway, first book for contemporary romance, if then 110, 111, 112, around there. If you haven't seen the rest of my if-thens, please go check them out. I made a list. If-then, D. Louise book series. Fake the game. I don't know. My printer did purple, but I don't think it's really purple. I'm the bad boy of baseball, and she's the good girl who's meant to repair my image. Falling in love with my pretend girlfriend is not part of the plan. My life is a mess. My career is seriously jeopardy because of one stupid decision that had disastrous results. I'm stuck on the injured list for who knows how long and losing endorsements because of my reckless behavior. It's only a matter of time before my team decides that I'm too much trouble to keep around. The last thing I should be doing is swooping in to rescue a perfect stranger from some jerk at a bar because of course a photo gets taken of her in my arms. Now, the last shot I have holding on to everything that matters is a curvy redhead who has no idea who I am and isn't all that impressed by the mess I've thrown her into. For some reason, Sadie agrees to help me. Now I'm forced to spend time with a woman who might be the only person to see the real me. Even more so when she moves into my apartment. With every fake date we go on, her warmth and smiles start to chip away at the ice around my heart. But what can I offer a woman like her? I'm nothing but a reckless a cocky baseball player with a past I'd rather no one knew about. I don't let people get close to me. I don't do relationships. Well, you're gonna do it now, buddy. You're gonna do it now. Here's my gal. Here's my gal. Here she is. Here she is. She's forgiven me. She's like, Mommy, don't do a video. Pay attention to me, Mommy. I want your attention, Mommy. I don't want you to do videos. And I want to go back on the other side of the room, Mom, where my other bed is. By paranormal. Alright, double play. The man is incredibly wealthy professional baseball player who is 10 years older than me, has a daughter. But when he hires me to take care of said daughter, I find myself catching feelings for the star pitcher. He's gruff but sweet and has a big heart that he shows in small pieces. Pieces I'd like to collect and call mine. Unfortunately, he has no plans to marry again after his ex-wife cheated on him, then abandoned him and Jane. Aw, I'm sure you can fix that. Sorry. My nose. Last night was fun. You've Got Mail meets Hating Game. Vying for promotion against a bitter rival as the only female analyst for a professional baseball team, Emmy finds solace in the text flirting relationship that started as a wrong number exchange, unaware that the man she's texting is the one she's fighting for promotion. Okay. Emmy Jameson lives by 3: no dating, no sharing, no personal news at work, and baseball above everything else. As the only female data analyst for a professional baseball team, Emmy consistently is trying to prove herself, especially when she's put up a senior analyst position against her arrogant, infuriating coworker Gabe Olson. Sure, he's gorgeous and smart, and he has a beautiful star in college who knows the sport inside and out, but so does Emmy. She's not going to lose him again. There'll be no distractions this summer, not even her summer's pending destination wedding in Mexico, which she needs to find one. But then she receives a text from an unknown number with a simple "last night was fun." When she strikes up a conversation with the mysterious texter, they realize he was given a fake phone number after a bad day. Catch Me If You Can. Remember that movie? Well, this is Catch Her If You Can, Tessa Bailey. Maiden Donahue, the newest catcher of the Yankees. I want a Subway series. You see, there are some people in my area that are strict Met fans. Strict. I mean, massive Met. Absolute 100% Mets. And then the city portion is 100% Yankee. But me, I was both. I liked both teams. I liked whoever was winning. And I always liked the Subway series. They called it a Subway series because you could take the subway to both stadiums back in the day. The Mets and the Yankees. Go Mets, go Yankees, go Mets, go Yankees. And hey, the biggest, they still talk about it today, the biggest event in baseball history, I think it was 86. It was Game 6 of the World Series, and that ball rolled down the first baseline. It was awesome. Bachelor Girl. When the owner of the New York Yankees baseball team, Colonel Jacob Rupert, takes Helen Winthrop, a young actress, under his wing, she thinks it's because his guilt over her father's accidental death, and so does Albert Kramer, Rupert's handsome personal secretary. Helen and Albert develop a deepening bond the closer they become to Rupert, an eccentric millionaire who demands their loyalty in return for lavish generosity. New York in the Jazz Age was filled with possibilities, especially for the young couple and single. Yet, even as Helen embraces being a bachelor girl, a working woman living on her own terms, she finds herself falling in love with Albert. And even after he confesses his dark secret, when Rupert dies, rumors swirl around the connection to Helen and the stunning revelation that he has the bulk of his he has left her the bulk of his fortune. Well, go figure that one. And this lady, if you haven't seen My Cozy Mystery Food, you gotta check this lady out. She's also one of the holiday ladies, too. But anyway. Pink Lemonade Cake Murder. The Tri-County Summer Solstice celebration has come to town, and among local artisans, athletes, and marching bands, Hannah attracts fans of her own while serving lip-smacking pink lemonade desserts. But when the mood sours, when her body turns up, leading revelers to wonder if the festivities mark the longest day of the year as the deadliest. A retired professional Major League Baseball player has met a terrifying end, and considering the rumors swirling about his past, the list of suspects could fill a stadium. Among them could be Dolores Hannah's mother, who publicly held a grudge against the victim after he infamously dunked her in the tank at a previous county fair. You remember those? You put somebody in this glass container, and they sit on a wood ledge, and people would throw balls at the thing, and if they hit the thing, the bench fell. The Perfect Date. Angel Gomez has never lived by the book, a Bronx-based unwed mother by the time she was 16. Angel's personal mission has always been to show the world that a Puerto Rican girl is not to be messed with, especially by a man. The only thing that matters to Angel now is providing for her son and earning enough tips at the club where she works to complete her nursing degree along the way. Love is nowhere on the agenda. Caleb the Duke Lewis is a star pitcher for the Bronx Bolts whose romantic escapades make delicious fodder for the gossip column. But lately he's been trying to keep a lower profile. So much so that when he meets Angel first while she's in her nurse uniform and the next time behind the bar she has no idea who Duke is. Fails to fall for his obvious charm and ends up throwing a drink in his face. She's the perfect woman for Duke to fool the tabloids into thinking he's finally settling down. But when the charade turns real, those marriage of conveniences or engagements of conveniences. We should put that in. I should add that to my pile. Chrissy, put that in your pile of marriage of convenience if-thens. There's a lot with the Regencies. The Viscount that needs to get married right away, or his mother's bugging the life out of him, and the young girl who needs to marry a title, and her mother's bugging her like crazy to get married. And they go, let's pretend to be engaged for a little while, and that'll take everybody off our backs, and then they end up falling in love. You've seen all those Regencies. Hell, I've got an entire shelf of them. Anyways, Evie Drake starts over. In a sleepy seaside town in Maine, recently widowed Elvie Drake rarely leaves her large, painfully empty house nearly a year after her husband's death in a car crash. Everyone in town, even her best friend Andy, thinks grief keeps her locked inside and Evie doesn't correct them. Meanwhile, in New York City, Team Denny, former Major League pitcher and Andy's childhood best friend, is wrestling with what miserable athletes living out their worst nightmares call the yips. He can't throw straight anymore, and even worse, he can't figure out why. As the media storms up heat, an invitation from Andy to stay in Maine seems like the perfect chance to hit the reset button on Dean's future. When he moves into an apartment at the back of Evie's house, the two make a deal. Dean won't ask about Evie's late husband, and Evie won't ask about Dean's baseball career. And I bet we end up falling in love. You should be so lucky. The 1960s baseball season is shaping up to be the worst year of Eddie O'Leary's life. He can't manage to hit the ball, his new teammates hate him, he's living out of a suitcase, and he's homesick. When the team's owner orders him to give a bunch of interviews to some snobby reporter, he's ready to call it quits. He can barely manage to behave himself for the length of the game, let alone an entire season. But he's already on thin ice, so he has no choice but to agree. Mark Bailey is not a sports reporter. He writes for the arts page, and these days he's barely even managing to do that much. He's had a rough year and just wants to be left alone in his empty apartment, mourning a partner he'd never be able to be public about. The last thing he needs is to spend a season writing about New York's obnoxious new shortstop. Oh, I get the feeling they move in together to share rent and other things. The proposal. Freelance writer Nicole Patterson, who goes to the Dodgers game with her actor boyfriend, his man bun, and his bros. The last thing she expects is to score a scoreboard proposal. Saying no isn't the hard part. They've been dating for only 5 months, and he can't even spell her name correctly. The hard part is having to face a stadium full of disappointed fans. Oops. At the game with his sister, Carlos Ibarra comes to Nikki's rescue and rushes her away from a camera crew. He's even there for her when the video goes viral and Nikki's social media blows up in a bad way. Nikki knows that in the wilds of LA, a handsome doctor like Carlos can't be looking for anything serious, so she embarks on an epic rebound with him filled with food, fun, and fantastic sex. Okay. Out of his league. Gretchen Harper has always been practical, dependable, solid, predictable. She's never taken risks. That is until she meets her favorite baseball player on the worst day of his career. Being sent to the minor league is just the first of Joshua Malvin's worries. He's got an injury that won't heal, and his entire career is on the line. When Gretchen offers him a cup of coffee, her simple kindness is exactly what he needs. He asks her to join him in first class, not exacting to end up joining her in her bed, which starts out as a one night stand leads to a future. And our last one, play for me. Sophie Doyle has her dream job as she's a head athlete trainer for her favorite baseball team, Go Red Sox, the enemy of the Yankees. Have you heard about the Boston Red Sox and the Yankee feud? A handsome boyfriend and easy access to the finest cannoli in Boston, but she loses all three and the World Series goes to boot. She's forced to apply for the open trainer position at an arts-focused school in New Hampshire. The only available room is a glorified closet in an apartment with three guys, Jonas Voss, the aloof and attractive orchestra teacher, and his two rambunctious roommates. Sophie knows that training a bunch of privileged high school kids whose idea of a play is a chorus line instead of a walk-off homer is going to be a big change from the pro athlete she's used to. She wasn't expecting that these students would have big-time talent and even bigger time problems. Sophie has troubles of her own. Jonas is a full-fledged grump who clearly doesn't want her near him or the precious piano he never plays. Got to tackle there. So that was my baseball if then. Are you interested in baseball? Do you want to go out and see a Yankee game or a Met game or a Red Sox game or a Dodger game? Because you know the Dodgers used to be the Brooklyn Dodgers. Way back when. Don't forget to check out Eve Dallas Saturday. We talk about the characters, spoiling those books up the yin yang no plot. If you want to hear about the plot, go watch my book reviews. In depth, D. Louise book series. Pull it up. Unboxing Sundays. Don't forget the recap today. Star Trek Next Generation recaps or Star Trek Voyager recaps. And Flashback Mondays. I need some help with that. Anybody got ideas? Please let me know. And of course, my daily book reviews. Oh, and I forgot. Every night at 7:45 on the D. Louise Book Channel, we're talking about a chapter in Diana Gambleton's Written in My Own Heart's Blood. Have a good one.